Imagine having the time and money to follow your passions and live life on your own terms. Welcome to Podcasting Mastery, where you'll learn the secrets of podcasting your way to a stress-free lifestyle. Let's grab a cool tropical drink and then join James, Kimberly, and the Turtle in the Secret Beach Hut Studio.
Yes, this is James Martell along with Kimberly Juchnowski.
Hello there.
And we are tucked again into the Secret Beach Hut Studio, and we're so glad you've decided to join us. This week, we will be continuing our conversation about developing a lifestyle business so we can all spend less time doing business and more time enjoying our families, more time traveling, and more time doing all of the things that matter to us most. It's for these reasons we focus on strategies for both developing a passive monthly income stream and passive ways of developing new clients and customers for your business. Kimberly, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, James?
Doing very well, thank you. And I do understand we have a very, very special guest joining us today.
We do indeed. Today we have Matt Frary joining us. Matt is the host of Chaos Makes Sense, a podcast that focuses on the pay-for-performance marketing industry. And we're going to talk to Matt about why he believes podcasters are the new influencers.
And I'm excited about this topic, and I'm excited about having Matt on. Now, Matt is the Chief of Chaos, best title on the planet for Smarter Chaos, a leading-edge digital performance marketing agency based in Castle Rock, Colorado. Matt's a true industry pioneer with more than 15 years experience in the internet marketing space. He's also a very good friend of mine, and I'm very excited to have us joining us today. Matt, welcome to Podcasting Mastery.
Hey everybody, I am so excited to find out where this private beachhead location is. I think I might know though. I'm just saying, I think I've been there.
I think you have. And you don't live in a bad place either, in the beautiful mountains, 5,000, 6,000 feet above sea level down here where we are.
Yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful in my hometown of Castle Rock. That's where our agency is located, but I also have a secret bond location up in Breckenridge, located at about 11,000 feet in the snow-capped mountains.
I know you do, and I see that it wasn't too long ago, weeks ago, actually, when you were sending pictures and it was still snowing.
This was on Memorial Day weekend. I pulled up to my cabin outside Breckenridge, and we had easily 4 to 5 inches of snow. And of course, I left my Christmas lights on the cabin. So it looked completely like a Christmas card over Memorial Day.
Now, we talk a lot on the show about developing a lifestyle business so we can spend less time doing business and more time enjoying our families, more time traveling, more time doing all the things that matter to us most. And you do a extremely good job of that. I know because I'm a friend of yours, but I also know because I watch your Facebook page, and you are always going somewhere, either locally up to the cabin with the family in your big Jeep, or you're heading off on, I don't know how many times you hit the airplane in a month, but you seem to be out there every week or two flying off somewhere.
You know, somewhere along the way, I decided that it was people and experiences mattered first and profit is second. Profit's a big part of it, but it's not the first thing that I think about when I wake up. And, you're right. I did have American Pharoah, the well-known Triple Crown winner horse, in a headlock this weekend. And I got a selfie with American Pharoah.
That's great.
That's a true story. Look at my Facebook page or my Twitter. I got American Pharoah face to face with me into a selfie.
Interesting.
That's awesome. So now, hey, so before we dig into talk about the business side of stuff and the Chaos Makes Sense podcast, and I'm excited, and listeners are going to be really excited to hear what you have to share, because if there's anybody that knows how to monetize content on the planet, you're the guy. And we're going to get into that. But take us back a little bit. Share your own personal story in the industry and kind of growing up within it, and bring us current. But keep it about you. Tell us about you and how you've evolved through these 15 years online.
Sure. I went through college using a notebook and a pen. True story. We had to space all of our papers with a single space. And I did a lot of crumpling papers and rewriting by hand all my college papers. So I didn't really have a computer. No computer in my dorm room. I had access to, some Windows computer in a computer lab somewhere, but really no interest. And I went into marketing. And I thought marketing was at these big advertising agencies doing commercials and and TV and things like that. Well, I applied to a job through an ad at ebags.com. Didn't know what I was doing, didn't know what the job was going to entail, but it turns out that a lot of people like to write about travel. And eBags wanted to be on those travel sites and wanted a link going from an ad on those travel sites going back to their luggage, and they wanted to sell luggage. And so my foray into the internet was making phone calls to the folks that own those websites and trying to convince them that they should put an ad up for luggage to eBags and get paid to do it. And so that was really the beginning of monetizing content. I realized if you had a travel blog or you had some sort of lifestyle that was worth writing about, we probably wanted to pay for that and get a place on your website. So that was the start of it all, I guess. Moving from that, I was very fortunate in my early 20s to manage a merchant mall called Kickstart.com. It was a charity mall, and you could raise money by shopping at all of these major merchants. And there was affiliate commissions coming back to Kickstart, and 50% of those affiliate commissions were shared with your favorite cause. And I managed all of the relationships with Amazon, eBay, Barnes & Noble at the time, etc. So I really got a first-class education in what merchants wanted and advertisers wanted in terms of traffic and content and so on. So from there, I went to work for Microsoft and built a lead generation channel for automobiles. And again, I went out after all the content sites that were auto-related, and I asked them if they would send us folks that were interested in buying a vehicle. That site got purchased by Microsoft. And fast forward a few years, I went into brand management. I got my MBA from Thunderbird and an international business degree, Russian language. And I came out broke, owed $100,000, didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I did know I had a newly minted MBA, and I was drawn back to the internet again. And I started looking for, after my internship, I had an internship with Mercedes-Benz for a little while, launching the smart car into the US.
Nice.
So I did an offline job for 6 months, and I wrote a marketing plan for the smart car. But after that internship was up, I contacted a friend at the time that had helped me prior, that had been an affiliate in the past. And I said, hey, what are you up to? What are you doing these days? And he said, oh my God, it's so good to hear from you. And this is all over AOL Instant Messenger. He said, I made millions of dollars last year employing the techniques that you taught me over the years. And I said, whoa, rewind. You did what? I said, I was just going to go apply for a bartending job at Red Robin. And he said, no. All the things that you taught me are true, and I'm making money from them. He said, will you come on board and manage it all, and let's build out an affiliate network together. So we did that, and we called it ROI Rocket, and we built a network that did tens and tens of millions of dollars in revenue a year. We had over 1,600 advertisers, 60,000 affiliates, and basically we were the matchmaker between content and advertisers. And we transacted a lot of sales through that network. We're one of the top 25 networks at one point. I left that network and I said, there's got to be a way that I can help advertisers after I sold my position in that network. So there's got to be a way that I could help advertisers access this beautiful world of making money on a performance basis and help them navigate the waters, because as we all know, there's gurus and then there's gurus out there. And so there's a lot of people selling snake oil. And one of the things I've always loved about James is that all the way through the affiliate bootcamp courses, which I attended personally, I've read the books that James has put out. I've been to the seminars that James has put on. All of that was very, very authentic. And authentic is the key. A lot of what is out there and what I've seen is advertisers or publishers, media partners having to navigate snake oil salesmen and a lot of dangerous mines out there where you could lose money very quickly. So I built this agency, Smarter Chaos, that would help advertisers find the right user at the right time on the right media partner's website, ready to purchase. And so that's what we built, is a performance marketing agency called smarterchaos.com. And that should bring us up forward to today's conversation.
So we all come from the pay-for-performance industry. Now, for the sake of our podcasting friends, can you please share with them what the pay-for-performance industry is, and tell us also about Smarter Chaos a little bit?
Absolutely. Pay-for-performance marketing, everybody makes it such a mystery. Oh my gosh, it's a channel. It's so hard. Yeah. It's not. It's very simple. It's a way to pay for media. And what I mean by that is, you use search, you can use Facebook, you could use podcasts, you can use YouTube, Instagram, whatever. You can use any source of media possible, and an advertiser will agree with you to pay for a sale, a lead, a mobile install, a action on the website, some sort of engagement. They'll pay for something, but they will only pay on that performance, whatever is deemed as payable. And so affiliate marketing, the term affiliate marketing, has morphed into this term performance marketing, because it basically means I send you what you're looking for, you pay me for that traffic. And that's really the premise of what we're talking about today. Is podcasters are the new influencers. They're the new content creators, and advertisers are going to go absolutely nuts for that kind of traffic.
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting that you say that, because I know a lot of our podcasting friends have grown their podcast or are starting to grow their podcast with the idea in mind that, hey, I have to go get sponsors to make some money, but I don't yet have enough downloads or enough listeners, and I'm kind of wondering if I'm ever going to get there. But you and I talked before the call here, and you actually said, which I completely agree with, that's an old model.
Right.
And that's
radio. There was a time and place in the 1920s and 30s for radio, right? That was a good time. You could sell an ad, you could talk about your listenership, right? And then you sold the ad based on the listenership. More listeners, more revenue. That model is not translatable today. It's not the same thing. TV used to sell ads based on the number of views or the reach, if you will. Websites used to sell based on the number of impressions they served. We can't think in that old time model. If you're spending time producing content, good, authentic, consumable, needed content, that's what's the most important thing. You shouldn't have to sit there and then think, I need to sell sponsorships, I need to build a sales team, I need to knock on doors and do door knocking to try to raise money for my podcast. What you should be thinking is, I've created all this amazing content. I bet there's somebody out there willing to pay for this content, pay for me to mention them or to do a placement for them, but not on a sponsorship basis. Let's make this a marriage. Let me get paid based on performance, based on the number of phone calls I drive, based on the number of sales or the number of leads that I drive. And that's a much easier thing, because advertisers out there, if you start to look and you start to search, you'll find that there are advertisers out there right now broadcasting, we will pay you $20 a phone call. We'll pay you, $30 a lead. Let's say I have an insurance podcast, James. Mm-hmm. If I had an insurance podcast and I was talking about insurance and ways to cover myself and cover my family, etc., there are advertisers out there that may be willing to pay upwards of $50 to $100 per phone call. So what should I do? Well, I apply to their program. I apply to their affiliate program. I get a unique phone number assigned to me, and I mention the crud out of that phone number all throughout my podcast, in all the text around my site, as much as I can without being spammy. I mention that very naturally, of course. And every phone call that gets driven is going to be tracked, and there will be an interface for you to log in, and you can sit back and watch the dollars roll in.
Can you take us back to the early days of content and what's so different today?
Yeah, sure. back in the 90s, in the old days.
Olden days.
I know, right? The old days, the early 2000s.
When you were in your 20s.
Right. Yeah, you and I just shared a birthday, so I know how old you're getting compared to me.
I know. We won't go there right now.
I don't seem to be catching you either. So, anyway, back in the old days, content was simply putting up articles. At first, content was just putting up link farms. You just put up links to things, and there was so few web pages that was still an interesting thing to do, was search these directories and click on links. And that was the original content, I guess, that was put up. Save money on auto stuff, and it was like a whole page of auto links, spammy auto links. Then a guy named James Martell came out, and he was right, and he said build authentic articles and build things that the search engines like to crawl, people like to read, people like to engage with, and then put in links related to that content, and voila, you can start to sell things. From there, it morphed into you need to build email lists. So those folks that are coming to your website and reading those authentic articles, you need to capture their email address, and then you need to send articles to them and keep them engaged and keep them coming back to the website. And then from there, it was you need a Facebook page, you need a Twitter page, you need an Instagram, you need all these different forms of social media, because you need to engage the consumer where the consumer wants to be engaged. And so if you follow that premise down the line, if the consumer's over on Facebook, you need to be producing content that's getting to Facebook. If the consumer's playing around on Instagram or Pinterest, you got to get the content over to them there, because you need to engage them where they want to be. So fast forward a little bit, YouTube becomes a big place where people are consuming videos. And so people start to create content in YouTube channels, and they start to do things like unboxing events. So someone would get sent a box from, let's say, fabfitfun.com or something like that, and they would do this video of them unboxing and trying the products and giving a review on the unboxing. And they would hype this event up, do the video, and then we would see sales spike for certain products, $10,000 at a time in one video on one day, any given day. And so that's where content headed. And when James and I were talking recently, I said, you know what, James? I think podcasting is the next content. That's the next influencer. Because if you think about it, all the vehicles on the planet right now are moving to being able to play podcasts, whether natively through the car system or plugging in your iPod or iPhone. All of our devices now, you can download podcasts. Software is making it easier to produce podcasts. We're streaming. We constantly want to be streaming books, music, info. We want to be plugged into what's going on. The content is just getting consumed differently than it used to. Cable companies are losing out. They're not getting the eyeballs. Radio's losing out. The internet even is losing impressions. It's all going to consumed audio content or consumed video content. And so if you're in the mix of that and you're producing content today, you're on the forefront of where marketing and sales and advertising is going.
It's time for us to take a short break, and when we return, we'll ask Matt to tell us about his podcast. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
More Podcasting Mastery with James and Kimberly from the Secret Beach Hut Studio after this.
Is your website out of date? Is it mobile friendly? Why not let us design your website, and we'll make sure it looks the way it should on all platforms and devices, including iPhones, iPads, and other smartphones and tablets. We'll even optimize your site for search engines and make it easy for you to share your content and products on social sites such as Facebook and Twitter with built-in sharing features. For more information and to schedule your no-obligation free consultation, go to podcastingmastery.com/website. Once again, that's www.podcastingmastery.com/website.
Would you love to spend less time doing business and more time enjoying your family, more time traveling, and more time doing all of the things that matter to you most? Whether you're looking to develop a passive monthly income stream or you're looking for passive ways of generating new clients and customers for your business, James Martell's free podcasting webinar is the place to start. James Martell, an 11-year podcasting veteran, will show you how to quickly and easily launch a podcast that will impress all who hear it to attract all of the clients and customers you need, and how to do it all in less than 1 hour a week using equipment you already own. Register now for this lifestyle and business-changing webinar at podcastingmastery.com/webinar. We'll see you there. Once again, that's www.podcastingmastery.com/webinar.
Is your podcast getting bogged down because of time or technical issues? Would you prefer to let someone else handle all of the production and technical details? Our virtual producer works remotely from a studio to provide you with production, technical, and creative assistance. Our virtual producer will call you and your guest by phone or Skype, and then record, produce, and upload each episode with SEO-friendly show notes to your website for automated distribution to social media and the major podcast directories. Sound intriguing? Visit podcastingmastery.com/virtual producer to learn more. That's www.podcastingmastery.com/virtual producer.
Now back to Podcasting Mastery from the secret Beach Hut studio.
Yes, we're back. I'm here with my co-host James Martell and Matt Frary, host of Chaos Makes Sense.
Let's talk about your podcast. You talked about before the break why podcasters are the new influencers, and your background is just such a perfect enhancement to our show. I got to tell you, you're the perfect guy to talk to about this.
Definitely.
But let's talk about your podcast, because I think it's probably about 3 years ago now. I finally managed to convince you. You're busy as a bee. I mean, you got every good reason not to, time-wise, and you're already extremely successful with the business, but with your business. But why did you finally decide to go ahead and start a podcast? And then tell us about your experiences with it.
Well, I'll tell you, you did. You chased me down. You kind of shoved this thing in my face and said, you need to pay attention to this. And it was an interesting thing because at the same time, I was bringing on a new advertiser to my agency called Spreaker, which you're all probably very familiar with.
Yeah.
And so I was just starting to talk about podcasting, and so were you. And we put our heads together, and you said, you should do a podcast. And I said, I don't have time. No way. Too hard. I don't see the value necessarily right away in how's that going to translate to me having more clients at Smarter Chaos. To the bottom line, how's that going to increase my bottom line? And so you made it so that I couldn't say no by basically helping me produce the show, do it on Spreaker, push it out through social media. You did everything except talk for me. Although you even did the interview, so you basically did talk for me in a lot of cases. And what we found from that was this was right at a time where I was saying, if we want to do this thing called performance marketing, if we want to be an agency, let's be the best. Let's be the thought leader in the space. Let's take over. I use the term dominate. Let's dominate the United States and be the forethinker in everything we do. If we're talking about video, let's be the best at that. If we're talking about search, let's be the best at that. Or let's get the best people and put them on to the podcast, etc. So this gave me a platform to be able to pull out content from thought leaders and then have that wrapped into my own brand, if you will, and my own agency, and have sort of a halo effect from that. So when I went around to conferences, industry events, people said, I know you. You know a lot about this subject. And their perception is coming from the time spent listening to the podcast and the guests that I was able to bring onto the podcast, and just the authentic, simple content that we were producing on this podcast. And it's not the hardest thing in the world. You basically sit down on a topic that talk about that topic, get some other people's opinion on that topic, and then bada bing, bada boom, you're a thought leader. It's a pretty incredible thing. And this actually drove additional clients to us. It drove people that wanted to be a part of what we were doing. So it warmed them up in a sense that by the time they reached our sales team or by the time they hit our agency, we didn't have to sell We just had to continue the conversation from what we were talking about on the podcast to now applying it and solving whatever issue it is that they had. So it became a very natural sales tool, I hesitate to say.
So with that in mind then, and I experienced the same thing. I would say probably 80% of my clients come from my podcast, easily. In your particular case, you got to the point where you had 42 episodes.
Right.
And you were interviewing other experts in the industry, which, of course, what do you call it, a halo effect?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that and how that helped to position you amongst your peers as well.
Well, the halo effect is something that explains the phenomena that other CEOs, other industry leaders in your industry, when you have a podcast, they want to be interviewed. People want to tell their story. They want to get their brand out there. And now you've got this beautiful platform to be able to help them get their brand out there and have their brand lend credibility to you at the same time. And so it creates this natural halo effect and makes you kind of the leader, the good guy out there that is pushing the industry forward and really bringing up the issues and the thoughts that everybody's thinking about but nobody's talking about. It helped us break open doors. It helped us. We would interview clients that we potentially wanted to have, maybe media partners, maybe vendors, things like people like that we would want to do business with in the future. We could do an interview with them, and then that opened a door for us. And then when other people heard those people that they knew and loved in the industry having an interview with us, they thought, wow, well, these guys must be okay. They must know what they're doing. And hopefully at the end of the day, we don't want to dupe anybody. Again, I'm all about being the good guy, all about trying to be as knowledgeable as possible. If we don't provide value on our podcast, if you don't like what we're saying, you can simply turn us off. But people weren't doing that. They were listening and they were downloading, and it was working.
You talked a little bit about pay-per-call as one technique for generating revenue, and of course, podcasters, as podcaster myself, we're always looking for new ways and better ways to generate revenue and real revenue. We're not. I don't think most of us are here to make a little bit of money. Most of us are here to at least earn a great living, and many of us are here to earn a whole bunch more than that. So,
Sure.
Give some examples of. Because a lot of the listeners, I don't think, are familiar with the pay-for-performance industry and how lucrative it really can be for the right people who are producing the right types of content. Give us some more examples, if you would.
Yeah, I don't want to disillusion anybody to think that it's easy. It's by no means easy. But once you've put the work in, once you've done all of the heavy lifting, then you get that passive income stream, as you called it, because it's in place and then it just produces. One of the alternatives is to do what you said, which is go out there and actively every week look for a sponsor for the next show, try to push them an insertion order or some form of contract, guarantee the impressions, take their money, mention them on the show, and then rinse and repeat. And you're going to do that every week? That doesn't sound like fun to me. So I think that this idea is that you use pay for performance, which is find a pay-per-call program, someone that's willing to pay for phone calls. Mm-hmm. And those exist. Go ahead and Google pay-per-call and then whatever industry you're in, pay-per-call health, pay-per-call insurance, pay-per-call banking, pay-per-call fitness, whatever. Just go out there and look for that. There are affiliate programs that will pay on a call to generate some sort of phone call and engage those folks. Sign up through their online program. Make yourself known once you're in the program. Show them your podcast. Tell them what you'll do for them in terms of mentioning them, putting them into the credits, putting them into the explanation pages, etc. Once that phone number is online and it is embedded in the podcast or it is out there on a page that is searched by Google, it's out there. And every time that phone rings, you're going to receive a check. You're going to receive some royalty from that. Same thing with leads in it or coupons. The way to use coupons, Spreaker is a great example. We have an affiliate program going right now for Spreaker. Go ahead and Google Spreaker affiliate program, or we'll be putting it in the wrap up of the podcast in the notes. But go ahead and apply to the Spreaker program. Tell us you're a podcaster and you need an individual coupon code. And we will pay you every time that you mention Spreaker in your individualized code. Someone signs up for the trial and becomes a customer. We'll pay you every time that happens. So all you have to mention is Spreaker, your promo code, and go ahead and put your affiliate links out there wherever you can. Any traffic generated from you, you'll get paid.
Let's talk about your podcast again for a moment here, because we mentioned it. You recorded 42 episodes. We were rolling pretty darn good too. We were doing it almost every single week. We hardly missed an episode. And then all of a sudden you had an accident. And
I did.
Thank goodness you're better now. But
right.
That took you off track. So now we're sitting in a position where we need to do. You're better. You've reached out to us. You said, James, we got to. First of all, you said, James, my leads are drying up because we're not doing the episode, and we need to relaunch this thing.
That's right.
Talk to that a little bit, if you would.
Yeah, life happens, and you can't control some variables, as we all know. And I think one of the things that happened to me was I had a severe head injury. I slipped and fell. And I cracked my head open, literally. And it caused a time where I couldn't process information very well, and I was having a hard time working, just to be very brutally honest. And so keeping the pace of a podcast, coming up with the content, getting guests, doing the actual podcast, speaking on the podcast, etc., was very taxing, and it just wasn't an appropriate time by that point. We did realize that there was a lot of business in place already. There was a lot of income in place. We were doing good things, so we were okay. We didn't have any trouble in terms of continuing our business. But I did notice that it was getting progressively more difficult to prospect and to close clients. And I attributed that to the fact that our voice wasn't out there. We're just not current. We didn't have a lot of thought leadership in the market at that point. So that's when I reached out and said, hey, it's time to get life started again. And let's get this thing kicked up.
I understand you have a large email following. How did you use your podcast to communicate with subscribers, Matt?
We use GetResponse, and everybody that comes to our website, if you leave, we ask you if you want to be part of our newsletter and to join the podcast. And we also, anybody that applies for our programs, anybody we come in contact with at conferences, etc., we put on our email list. We opt them in, and then we try to reach out to them every single podcast episode that we do. We mail them and let them know about it so that we can keep the listenership going, communicate, use it as a platform and a vehicle, as a way to communicate information, news, events, tactics, techniques, changes in the market, things like that.
Let's talk about some offers. Of course, our podcasting friends have podcasts on just probably every topic under the sun. And You're a digital marketing agency that represents some of the leading brands online. You've got great offers from companies who will pay our podcasting friends to promote, influence, recommend these companies and their products and services. Any come to mind that you'd like to share?
Yeah, one that we've had for a long time, and actually James was sitting in the room when we closed this deal years ago, is Meredith Magazines. So one of the largest magazine companies media companies in the world. They own Martha Stewart, weddings, Every Day with Rachel Ray, fitness, every type of magazine that you can imagine on every type of topic. So we can do promotional codes and give you a promotional code for discounts basically on magazines or bundles of magazines that no one else can beat. So directly from Meredith Magazines, we can issue you deals for just your podcast to every topic you can imagine that Meredith Magazines touches. So that's one program you can apply for. We range from fashion to shaving to insurance. I mean, we have all types of programs. So I would go to smarterchaos.com and check it out, sign up, and it's free to sign up. You can check out all of our programs. You're going to get contacted by one of our affiliate managers. Tell them that you have a podcast. You're going to need a promotional code, and a link, and we can get going with that. We have Casetify, which is a cell phone case company. They're very hot right now. They were based on turning Instagram photos into cell phone cases and device cases.
Cool.
So that's one that converts really well in this type of medium. We have Skin It, which is another like laptop skins, cell phone skins. You can, every topic from comics to Star Wars to NFL to whatever you can imagine is on skinit.com. So we can get you unique creative for whatever topic it is that you're interested in. We have Shave Mob, which is similar to the Dollar Shave Club program, which we launched Dollar Shave Club, but we're now marketing Shave Mob. So that's great for any male podcast or men. Yeah, so we have a whole grouping. We have a whole bunch of different clients that would welcome and encourage your traffic. If you're into photography, we have Zenfolio. So Zenfolio is a whole website and SaaS platform that you can put your amateur photography onto, sell your pictures, create an entire photography website on. And Zenfolio is probably a leader in what they do. So yeah, I would say sign up at Smarter Chaos, check out what we've got there. And a larger resource is the platform that we sit on is called Impact Radius. And Impact Radius today has over 300 public programs that you can join there as well. So as a partner of Impact Radius, I'd say check ours out first. And all of our programs are in Impact Radius. Second, go to Impact Radius and check out Impact Radius, because Impact Radius has both call tracking as well as promo code tracking. So very tactically, if you sign up at Impact Radius, all you need to do is once you get accepted, go up into the ads in the section where it says ads or advertisements, and look for any merchants that have promo codes or that have phone numbers or are in any interest groups that you're interested in.
So how does somebody apply to a program? What are the steps involved there?
It's really simple. You go to the application page at Smarter Chaos. We have the Join Now, and you can go through and click which programs you're interested in. And then you fill out an application. It's an online application. Usually through us, you're probably going to get a phone call or an email, most likely a phone call. And we're going to just ask you a few questions about how you're going to be promoting, maybe the content of your website or your podcast. Make sure that you're a real person. And then we'll hit approve. And when we hit approve, you'll get a message, and then you'll be able to log into the interface where there will be ads available to you, as well as promotional codes. You can request a phone number to be assigned to you. There'll be a whole interface for you to interact with the advertiser. And so you want to try to communicate with the advertiser, get in touch with them, get the ads, the promo codes, the phone numbers that you need. And then once you put those in your podcast or on your website and you start to produce clicks, leads, sales, phone calls, whatever it is, you'll see in your dashboard all of those things happening in the reporting. And then at the end of the month, for all those things that you generated, a check will be cut or direct wire to your bank, and voila, you're making money.
That's the best part.
Yes,
the best part.
Definitely.
Now, for those who, now, as Kimberly said, we all three of us have been involved in the pay for performance industry. Even Kimberly, as young as you are, for years now. Mm-hmm. Matt for 15 years, myself about the same. We understand how it works as far as the program managers work, but this is a real ace in the hole for affiliates, and in this case, podcasters who are looking to represent these programs, that these program managers that you mentioned that you have on staff, first of all, it doesn't cost anything to join an affiliate program. Secondly, it doesn't cost anything to get all the assistance they really need in getting set up. So talk about the program managers and what their role is in the relationship here.
Sure. It's a beautiful thing. You have a bunch of people at your beck and call that want you to be successful, because when you make money, the advertiser's happy, and then the program manager probably makes money as well. So it's in everybody's best interest to make income happen in this scenario. So if you think of it that way, you realize that you have an entire team of people that you just have to know what you're doing, what your content is, what you're looking for, and these folks will go out and get what you need to be successful, maybe provide you with tips and tricks, what's been working for other folks, maybe some of the new content that's available to promote, etc. So it's like having your own advertising sales team on your staff that is working for you, trying to help you make money.
You bet. And because I've been dealing with brand new affiliates for so long in our company, I have a feeling podcasters are in the same position, where sometimes we don't see exactly how we can monetize our show. And one of the things that I would recommend is to get on the phone and call Smarter Chaos, talk to a program manager, show them your podcast, show them what you're doing, talk about who your audience is, the type of content you're creating, and it's always good to have another set of eyeballs on it, especially with the background that your program managers have, because they'll see things that you might not see. Mm-hmm. I know every time I do it, it's like, okay, there's a great idea. Why am I not doing that?
Yeah, exactly.
And I've been in the industry for a while, so it's really worthwhile to make that call. These are really friendly. I know sometimes people are a little bit nervous to call the program manager. They're not quite sure what they're into, and they're just nervous. Talk about a couple of your program managers and just how nice of people they really are.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, we hire folks that are helpful, client service oriented, that are all about performance. They're held to their numbers, which means that they need to generate revenue through these programs. So they are motivated every single day to help you and try to figure out how you can make money so they can hit their numbers, basically. So the bigger the checks we're writing out there to podcasters and affiliates, the happier our affiliate managers are. We hire usually for personality, and we hire for the character of the person. We don't hire usually for technical expertise, so you're not getting some programmer or robot on the other end of the phone. You're getting people that are probably, not too many years out of college or quite a few years out of college, that were from a different industry or something else, but we saw that they had a passion for this. They really, really understood the importance of it, and they understood what affiliates are doing and wanted to help. And so they sit, just to give you kind of the dynamics of the office, we break it up into people that service the advertiser, and those are client service oriented people that you'll probably never talk to. We have operations people that are more robotic, very technical, etc. And then we have this group of very happy, socialized account managers sitting in a bright, sunny room next to our beer garden here in Castle Rock. And they're well-fed and they've got an account over at the beer garden, and they're super happy people. I can't paint a prettier picture than that.
You did a good job.
And I'm going to be in Castle Rock next month. We've already decided.
Yeah, exactly. You guys come over to the beer garden with me.
So that's great. That's great. So, hey, let's do this. Let's shift gears. Let's wrap her up. I want to, I've had this, you and I've had the conversation on the Affiliate Buzz on that podcast numerous times, but listeners are just kind of getting a flavor for your knowledge and what you do. And of course, I'd love to get you back on, or we'd love to get you back on again, because podcasting is really about monetization for most of us.
Sure. And
clearly you've got that down. But let's jump into what we call the speed round. And 10 quick questions that we didn't prep you for. Windows or Mac?
Windows.
Yes.
There we go. Finally. You're like number 2 out of 40. We're Windows 2.
No, so. I think we're up to 3 or 4 now.
Okay.
I thought we were the only internet company still on Windows, but I'm still holding it.
Me too. Number 2, iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
See, there's a little crossover there. Yeah. And I probably know the answer to this question. Cat or dog person?
I've got big dogs, as you know, so I'm a dog person, but we're a cat and dog and horse family.
Okay.
I have 2 cats named Batman and Robin.
And you have 2 dogs. One, I understand that he moved to a farm.
Yep.
Anna and Olaf.
Anna and Olaf, the Bernese Mountain Dogs.
Yeah, they're massive dogs.
Yes.
Most recently read book?
Most recently read book is by Peter Thiel. And now you're quizzing me and I can't remember. It's The Startup, I think.
Startup, okay. And now back to the Facebook page. I've seen so many pictures of you flying to Legoland and all kinds of places with the kids and the wife. Favorite vacation spot?
I'm sorry, I'm going to edit my last answer. It's 0 to 1. It's called 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel, Creating Startups.
Okay.
Next question was favorite spot, you said?
Favorite vacation spot?
Kauai, Hawaii.
Yay!
Hawaii is God's way of saying that there is heaven on earth.
Yeah.
And it's not spoiled yet.
Nope.
And the lifestyle there is very relaxed. And it's one of the most beautiful spots on earth. Second is Thailand.
Agreed on that second one.
Yes.
Yeah.
My favorite spot.
For the same reasons.
And I definitely know the answer to this one. Are you techie or non-techie?
Non-techie.
Total non-techie. I love it. Matt does almost nothing. He outsources everything.
I don't know anything. I can't build a website to save my life. Last time I built a website, I had to hand code it in my coding class. And I've never built a website since then.
You're such a good example of why people should not learn how to do all this stuff and rather just hire it out. You are such a good example of that.
I believe that we should outsource the things in life that we're not good at. So I've outsourced my patio, my lawn care, my everything to do with taking care of myself and my family. Anything that involves serious manual labor, any technical stuff, it's all outsourced. But I measure it based on the time that it saves me, which equals the money that I make. So if it can free me up to have more time with my friends, family, loved ones, and more time to be creative and work on my business, and notice I said work on my business and not in my business, then I'm a happy camper and I'll pay you all day to do it.
Favorite success quote?
Favorite success quote? My father-in-law once told me, don't worry about what's in the deal for the other person. Worry about what's in it for you. Meaning that don't always be looking for the way that the other person is trying to get one over on you. If you have value in the side of the deal that you cut, go with it. Who cares how much they gain from it?
What's a tool you use every single day that you would absolutely hate to live without?
Oh my gosh. Can I name a few?
Okay.
The tool that I can't live without probably starts with Basecamp, Evernote, Slack, WordPress, Salesforce.
There you go. Big five.
Yep, those are the ones. Can't live without them.
This will be a fun one. Number 9. What do you do for fun?
Wow.
I know.
I ski a lot. So I go skiing. I mountain bike. I have recently started CrossFitting. I don't know if that's for fun. And I spend a lot of time traveling. I mean, my life is kind of based, as you said earlier, on experiences and the experiences I can give to my kids.
And that you do a lot of. And probably, which would lead very nicely into question number 10, is what is the most rewarding thing you've been able to do for someone else? Let's go with your kids on this one because of your business.
So I'm able to homeschool my kids, and we're able to provide a lot of time. And because we don't have worries about geography and where we need to be and certain work hours that we have to be sitting in a seat working, we've been able to homeschool our kids, which then opens up the lifestyle of flexibility and fun and togetherness and creating a lifestyle where we can, whatever we dream we want our life to be, that's what it is. And so I can honestly say I'm living a designed life, and that's the best thing I can give to my kids.
That's awesome. Do us a favor, share again the contact information where our podcasting friends can join these programs that you talked about earlier, and also where they can learn more about. And I would highly encourage all of our listeners to definitely subscribe to the Chaos Makes Sense podcast, Matt's podcast, if you're looking to truly monetize your site and really get your head around this. Of course, what Matt touched upon today is only the beginning of what's available to you.
Absolutely. You can reach us at smarterchaos.com. Go there and join from the media partner, join now button. You can go to Impact Radius and start looking at programs managed by Smarter Chaos. Sign up there, and then all the programs not managed by Smarter Chaos. You can follow me on Twitter at Chief of Chaos. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Facebook. And hopefully you're listening to Chaos Makes Sense. And I invite anyone with a great story and information to share to be a guest on that podcast.
So again, we got all that. What was the Facebook address? Facebook.com/Smarter
Chaos.
Smarter Chaos. Wonderful. Wonderful. So Matt, I want to thank you as usual. You're always so generous in sharing your history, of course, all of your monetization knowledge and pay for performance /affiliate marketing knowledge. Muchly appreciated.
My pleasure. And if I could leave one last word of advice, it's just do. Don't let anything hold you back. Get out there, create the first podcast, join the first affiliate program, but just keep doing, and you'll eventually build the spaceship.
And now if you're wondering what it takes to develop a profitable show of your own, James has put together a special report just for you where he lays out the core elements of the No Fail podcast. You can download it for free for a limited time at podcastingmastery.com/nofail. And to our podcasting friends, a reminder, if you have your own podcast or podcasting tool that you would like us to feature here on the show, simply send us the details to feature me at podcastingmastery.com, and we may do exactly that. Finally, if there is something here that we mentioned, there is a lot of it, anything that you missed, but keep in mind we keep all the show notes for you, including links to everything that's talked about. You can find the show notes for this episode at podcastingmastery.com/PM038.
Perfect. And Kimberly, thank you so much. Matt, you as well. Thanks again. And to all of our podcasting friends, we'll catch you in the next edition of Podcasting Mastery.
Thanks for joining us in the Secret Beach Hut studio. If you are ready to start your podcasting adventure and to learn the secrets of creating a profitable podcast, James Martell has boiled it down for you to the 12 core elements of the No Fail podcast in his most recent free report. Available for a limited time at podcastingmastery.com/nofail. But don't wait, this report won't be free for long. So be sure to grab your free copy today to learn the secrets of podcasting your way to a stress-free lifestyle at podcastingmastery.com/nofail.